Hello, everyone. It's Brian here with a video for Mike, our man in Boston. I'm talking about MGK Boston. Maybe we should call him Mr. Postcard. Let's not forget Colton, who may be the coolest cat in the Boston area. Who knows? So his idea for a video was to talk about 5 artists or maybe 5 records that you listened to when you were 12 or 13 years old. And when I heard that, I thought, there's no way I'll be able to do this. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not sure I can remember. I struggled to remember. So I've done my best guess at things I might have been listening to at that age. And I will say, if this was ages 15 or 16, this would be radically different. So, you know, at that age, I was still under the influence of older people, let's say, and that'll come out in the video that when I talk about that. So the first item, I should say that the thing I listened to most at that age was definitely the radio. I mean, I listened to the radio for years before that, you know, even after that. In the car, there were often battles about what station to listen to. So the radio would have been the primary way that I heard music. But I did start buying records at some point, and this is one of them. This is a Kiss, the originals. It's kind of a 3-for-1 because it has a debut, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill. And I'm not sure exactly when I got this, but I do know it was the second record I ever owned because on the cover it has my name and it says album 2. And the reason I wrote that on there is because my sister, who's a few years older than me, always wrote her name on her record. So if she got a new record, she'd write her name, album number, whatever it is, if it's 20, 25. She'd do the same on the label, and then on a separate piece of paper, she would keep a list of what they were. Kind of like a primitive spreadsheet. So I guess she was ahead of her time on that. So she had a spreadsheet almost of things that she listened to. I stopped doing it after a while. Now, album 1, I do know what album 1 is. I don't own it anymore. And I think I have 3 or 4 or 4 or 5. And then I stopped writing on the records. I kind of regret doing it. But this comes with a 16-page history of Kiss that reveals everything in words and pictures few have ever seen before. So that's kind of fun. I hadn't read this blurb in a while, but it's kind of hilarious. This is, as you might know, a limited edition, collector's edition. It has 6 wallet-size, full-color Kiss Rock Superstar cards. Now, of all the words in that sentence, why would they put quotes around wallet size? You might have put them around superstar. It doesn't make any sense. It's suggesting that they're not what they say they are. A giant Kiss Army sticker. So why isn't it a giant Kiss Army sticker? It's so weird. Everything in one once-in-a-lifetime package for the dedicated Kiss fan. And I was for a while. I was a dedicated Kiss fan with some of my friends until they kind of went disco in 79, right? I mean, isn't that a disco record? But this was something I listened to a lot. Now, in my house, I did not have a turntable early on. I got one later. My sister had one. I think we should call it a record player, though. And there was one in our main living room, or the only living room. And so a lot of the music I heard when I was that age was my sister's music. I have an older brother who has already moved out of the house, so I do have some memory of his music. But my sister was the main person I took my musical direction from. And so let's talk about some records that she listened to. And I don't know if I said this, but I've chosen 6 records to break the rules. That we've already seen one. So a band that she liked, and consequently I liked, was Led Zeppelin. And so this, of course, is Led Zeppelin 3. I remember being really fascinated by this dial here. And she had many Led Zeppelin records. 2, 3, 4, Song Remains the Same, In Through the Outdoor for sure. She may have had others. Now, here's the sad thing. Some years ago, she told me, I guess she didn't realize I still had records, and she said that she gave all of her records away to a neighbor. Now, I know they had her name written on them, but still, it would have been nice to have them. I'm not upset that she got rid of Cleo Lane, but I would have liked to have had her some of her records, which are kind of cool. Some of them were cool, and some of them weren't cool, but that's sad. But Led Zeppelin, she and I listened to a lot. I like Led Zeppelin. That's where I first heard it, and so that was kind of cool. Another band that she listened to quite a lot, and I also did because she had the records, was this really strange band. And she had maybe every record they ever released, and that is Dr. Hook, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. This is a greatest hits package with 10 infamous Dr. Hook classics. Now, if you know this band, you know they write these, you know, really beautiful kind of love songs, but then these off-color salacious tracks like Penicillin Penny and Freaker's Ball. Really kind of strange thing. My dad was always confused by this band. Like, why can't they write another song like Sylvia's Mother? Why do they have to write Penicillin Penny? So But she had many, many records from this band. I will take credit though. The first record that she owned by them, I gave her as a Christmas present. It was some sort of compilation I bought for her. And then she went down the path of completing the collection of Dr. Hook records, which was kind of funny. I haven't listened to. I continue to listen to Led Zeppelin. I haven't heard this in, I don't know, 30 years maybe longer. Probably longer. Here's another record I haven't listened to in a very long time. It's not someone that I would say is a favorite artist of mine. In fact, if I listed 100 bands, I don't think, or singers, he would be on it. But this is something that I listen to a lot in her room, sitting on her beanbag chair, and that is Billy Joel, and this is The Stranger. You know, as I say, I'm not a huge fan, but if you only have one Billy Joel record, this would be the one to have, in my opinion, The Stranger. She may have had 52nd Street. This one I preferred. You know, if Chuck Klosterman can say that he's a Billy Joel fan, I can admit to liking at least one Billy Joel record, so this is it. But again, I haven't listened to this in a very long time. But it kind of impressed me at the time, and none of my friends were listening to this kind of music. They were listening to whatever. Well, maybe they were listening to this. I'm not sure. They weren't listening to Led Zeppelin, that's for sure. Or Dr. Hook. So, where am I? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So here's another band that my sister loved. I think she also had some other records by this guy too, and it seems to me in my memory that this record was played a lot in my house, and that is the Steve Miller Band. This is the greatest hits from 74 to 78. I think she may have had a copy of Book of Dreams. I'm pretty certain about that. These are the tracks that everybody knows, like Swing Town, Jungle Love, Take the Money and Run, Rockin' Me, you know, what else? The Joker, Fly Like an Eagle, Jet Airliner. So yeah, I heard this a lot. Again, this is a record I haven't heard in 35 years maybe, but at the time I kind of enjoyed it. It was in her room, I could hang out with her and listen to music, and this is one of the things she played. Now here's the kind of a surprising one that I have mentioned before, because I may have mentioned in the past that my dad was this is not an ABBA record, but my dad was a big fan of ABBA. I blame my sister because my sister gave him an ABBA 8-track. I believe it was Waterloo. And my dad had this horrible habit of putting it into the 8-track player and letting it play many times. So if you got up on the weekend at 10 or 11 o'clock, the 8-track would play like right till dinner time, maybe longer. So, and I know I've mentioned ABBA many, many times, but that is one of the reasons I don't really like ABBA, because I heard it to death. He had vinyl records of ABBA. He had 8 tracks. He had me make cassette copies of his records for his car. It was altogether too much. I have heard every ABBA song way too many times, and there's only one song of theirs that I can sort of tolerate. But everything else just makes me really angry, and it's a trigger for me. So, but he did this with some other records in terms of playing them over and over again. And one of the records he played over and over again was this one from Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. So I can't even tell you how many times I've heard this in my dad's house on the 8-track. Sometimes dozens of times in one day. So, you know, following the same logic, I probably shouldn't like it because of the ABBA comparison. But actually, this one is one I could still listen to. I haven't heard this in a long time. I only own one Fleetwood Mac record. This is it. I know a few tracks from the previous record. I've never heard Tusk. I don't know the early stuff, but this is it. So that's what I was listening to when I was 12 or 13. A lot of things that other people were listening to that I didn't own, but have now for some strange reason. So that's all it is. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.